I have with me in the studio Mr. Godswill Mrakbo, who is a legal practitioner. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you.
Well, you have heard some of the complaints by the senators there. I mean, people are definitely worried about what they think is the rising insecurity in the country. Interestingly, this is not the first time this matter of insecurity has come up in Nigeria. There are times when it looks like, you know, the gates of hell are let loose and all the bandits are out. But other times it does look like, well, we're just facing the normal challenges of a developing country. However, we've heard over and over again from some quarters, and you heard the Senator Adeyeye there saying that, you know, the Constitution can never give us progress and security. What is your take as a lawyer on that?
Thank you for having me in your studios this morning. We've all listened to Senator Adeyeye. Been watching him for the past 1 week with those comments, been all over the internet and all of that. I'm inclined to agree with him that the Constitution can give us peace. The Constitution cannot give us progress. And the reason why I agree with him is that the Constitution as it is actually a fraud on the Nigerian people. It's a lie to the Nigerian people. The Constitution is not the document of the Nigerian people. The Constitution is supposed to be the contract that binds the people with the government. A Constitution is like a transaction, it's a transaction between two businessmen. When two business people want to go into a transaction, they write an agreement, they have a contract, and the contract defines the role, the responsibilities, and the duties of all the players in that contract. That is exactly what a constitution is in terms of governance. It's a contract between the governor and the governed, the people and their leaders. That's what the constitution is.
You've heard those who say that, I mean, yes, we've heard those who say the Nigerian people were not consulted when this 1999 Constitution was written. But we've heard two arguments to counter that. We've heard the argument that, oh, the 1999 Constitution is not entirely different from the 1979 Constitution. It's just adjusted in places, in some places. And the 1979 Constitution had the Constituent Assembly that starts to write it. So did we really need another Constituent Assembly? And then some other people argue and say that, you know, it was Nigerians who wrote this Constitution. Yes, they were wearing military uniforms or they got some, you know, eminent Nigerians to write it. And yes, we did not put our imprimatur on it, but they were Nigerians who wrote it. It didn't fall from heaven, or we didn't have foreigners write it for us. Is that really the basis upon which we say that this is a problem with the Constitution?
Yes, it is. It is a basis. It is Nigerians that wrote it. You'll be surprised to know the American Constitution was written by just one person. Benjamin Franklin wrote the American Constitution. But today it's governing the whole of the United States of America. What happens is that when you are making Constitution, the people must have their input in the making of the Constitution. The document could be written by one person who was an expert in law, knows how to write this thing, but it has to be adopted, it has to be ratified by the people. In the case of the American Constitution, if you recall, maybe a student of history, you found out that there were 13 states that formed the United States of America. Now, that document was prepared by Benjamin Franklin. On the urgings of Benjamin Franklin as well, he convened the Assembly of the People, and they all adopted and ratified the American Constitution. In the case of Nigeria, it has never been like that. Nigerian case, we've always have our Constitution handed over to us by the masters. Right from independence, our first Constitution, the Independence Constitution, was a product of order in council, British order in council. It was the British that wrote it, and they made an order, and it came into effect by the British order in council. The 1999 Constitution came into effect by Decree 24 of Abu Salam that made it. That's how it came into it. The same thing with the 1979 Constitution. So there has never been a time that Nigerians have been consulted on what they want to be contained in their Constitution. I give you a very good example in the America. We only cite America because America is more like the beacon of democracy in the world. In the case of the American Constitution, when about, I think 11 or so states have already signed, it was remaining Rhode Island. It refused to sign. The reason why they refused to sign is that they were saying that you cannot abolish slavery because slavery is a part of our economy, that you cannot be in charge of the currency. Currency should be localized. I should have my own currency. It shouldn't be one United States dollars. Those were the issues that were conversing. But eventually they were able to have a referendum, and then it was adopted, and then it became the constitution of the people of the United States. In the case of Nigeria, nobody consults anybody. Just like Senator Adeyeye was saying, we have 68 items on the exclusive list, including policing, which is a local affair. And then where you have just some few items in the concurrent list. And even those few items in the concurrent list, if you read it properly, you find out that it's all been given to the exclusive list, because the center has power over them. So the point is that before you can say that the Constitution is a document of Nigerians, even though it is drafted by Constituent Assembly or by one person or by a few group of people, it has to be tabled to the Nigerian people for them to be able to say, okay, they will take it item by item. These 68 items in the exclusive list, should they be in the exclusive list? There needs to be a referendum.
You know, I'm glad that you're beginning to narrow down on the reasons why, you know, we might be getting this, the